All right. Hello and greetings. How are we doing today? So, the YouTube channel is officially up. The first several videos are set for a scheduled upload. And while I was going through everything, I discovered, and I had totally forgotten, that several months ago I had gotten the online game Tabletop Simulator? Yeah, Tabletop Sim. And I did a complete run through my game and I recorded it and I did some editing down and I did everything I could just from Tabletop Sim. So what I said was in my next video we would go like I would play the game, but I'm going to change that up a little bit. I'm going to make it so the YouTube channel will be the main source of information besides, of course, the game rules itself, um, a source of my own kind of outlet. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm not going to just play the game just with a bunch of different characters because there's no way I can record that. It's not going to be fun to watch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the game, of course, on my own, you know, just I'm going to play the game without any sort of recording that doesn't it's not going to be entertaining. So I'm going to go from that, is take a bunch of notes, and with the characters from the prior video, what I would want is to actually start writing the scripts because the point of the game is to tell stories. So I want to represent still as close to the channel as possible the game itself and what it is for. It's for telling stories. So that is going to be the goal with going forward. So going back to this video, this is going to be all I did is with my hard drive. I was moving videos in and out. I found these. I'm like, holy crap! I totally forgot. So I watched all of these just once through just now. Holy crap, it's only three. Oh, that's okay. All right, so I watched all these just once through. I got them in the best order. We are not going to watch the last one, the card complete, because this is all three of these just all in one video. So there's going to be that Filmora watermark on the screen. I don't know how it's going to look with another watermark, but it's all I got right now. I can't find anything online that's video editing that won't leave a big watermark that just is free. I can't find one right now. I'll work on it the best I can. But if I can get this just full screen, I think it'll be right in the center. So it might just seem a little darker, which is okay. I have most of the game happening up above anyway. So this is just going to be a run through dry commentary. Dry commentary, is that even a thing? I don't even think that's a thing. I guess it's just going to play that. That song can't, whatever, it's just the song. Okay, this is just from my memory. What is happening on the board? Am I able to keep track with what is happening on the screen as, as an avid player of this game? So of course, with the first watching these videos, the first dry run, I think that's what I was trying to say before, the first dry run, whatever I was trying to say before. That was all just to refresh my memory, because this was several months ago. This is from my own little Steam account, which I only got Steam just for this project, Tacta, which I could talk about Tacta later. No longer it's no longer a project. It's something I gave up on. It was way too ambitious. So what's happening here is I'm setting up. I am gonna just knock that out. I'm setting up the basic game. So there's 4 players. All 4 players have at least one single die. Setting up a hallway 4 cards. And there actually isn't the banner, the whatever it's called, the thingy. So I will fast forward very soon. I'm not going to sit here and watch absolutely all 15 minutes, but I'm just, like I said, I'm doing all this in one take. I've watched these videos once, just making sure that I am here, mentally prepared, mentally set. So I'm just seeing this game board getting set up. Everyone draws to 5 when I really should have just let them draw to 3 since there's 4 players. Like, it would have been just fine. And then I also I also realized I could have rotated the 2 players on the left side. I could have rotated their cards, but for whatever reason in my mind, I just didn't do that. Even though I think it's later on in either this video or one of the other videos, I used the rotate option on a card. So I don't know why I missed that. I just did. So this was an iteration of the game where instead of drawing when you draw your heart card and you immediately put it down, this was a version of the game where you kept your heart cards until you needed them. So you would build up to 1, 2, 3, and then you'd go down 3, 2, 1. And in that instance, it gave the players 6 chances to pass the card, and it just got to be. I mean, if you want to play that way, go for it. Add, if you could keep their heart cards in your hand until you need them, then count 1 to 3, 3 to 1. I mean, if you want to play like that, go for it. But just for me in the main game, it seemed to not have any sort of challenge to it or any. It took that risk way, way down, especially with all the items and being able to what I'm going to do here and being able to split up into a group. You could just have all 4 players move through the game all in the same, and it would just be. So I changed that later on. So this was still in the trial phase of Terrors in the Night. So now what I'm saying is the 2 players on the right, the next to the Jack and the Queen, they are staying in that hallway. They are not moving forward. While the 2 players on the left, who got their characters, they are the ones who are searching down this hallway. And here we go. There's the first time where, for whatever reason, they can't pass this card. So I think for a lot of these cards, in my mind, I stuck with opposite or higher. But because I was capturing the video, I didn't want to just have a complete and utter fail state, which I don't think I ever did. I don't think that ever happened with with the players being able to draw up to 3 and then down to 3. They they were able to do the search part of the game incredibly easily. I think here I noticed a failure. He had the 4 of hearts with the 4 of hearts. He could have played that and would have finished the hallway rather than taking the damage, which he doesn't even take the damage until the end of 6 cards. So the reason I went from once you draw the heart, you can see that in action here. It was way less risky. It just didn't seem as fun. And now here on the board, I'm adding the chips underneath the card. So the 10, from rewatching these videos, I think the 10s are currency. So just kind of like shillings or bills, whatever you want to find, just like on a table or whatever. Um, the green chips, I believe, are treasures. So those are items that are a little bit more valuable, but are still considered looted items. So you have to go and get them like pawned off. So you can collect treasures over time if you start running out of money. And then the hundreds, the red chips, I believe, are items. So, like, for me as the game master in this case, I would have those red chipped items just in case I wanted to give them to them, like just in case they're searching location, and it would make sense for them to find, like a lockpick. It would make sense for them to find just any sort of item that the game master can have those on the side. All these players, though, they didn't have an item, but they all had an attribute. So here, I'm going to use an example for an attribute in a game. So he's playing, or two attributes actually. He's playing one on one with the game master, and I'm going to give him his attribute, his ability. So just because we're playing one on one, it's more fun if the other player has something tangible to show that they can do something or there's some sort of change. So here I'm setting up clear the dungeon, which with one player isn't very fair, but like I said, this was early stages. So let's jump. All right, and then here we go. I click on all the cards so I know where to start. I'm not gonna there's the one rule of clear the dungeon is what if that's even a rule is you have to go in this reverse order. You can't just jump around and flip all the cards. It's much easier if you when you play it in person, stacking those cards in that shape and knowing how the order goes. You don't have to do the whole clicky thing, but it still worked. He's able to draw. He's still passing. And I believe it's here is where he can't pass. So what he does is for whatever reason, I'll pause it here. For whatever reason, his class gives him the ability where he can add a dice roll to this suit, which I know I apologize. I turned off the game capture mouse because I don't like watching mouses scream across the screen when I'm watching it. So let me clarify. The 10 of clubs is his highest card. That 10 of clubs right in the center also happens to be the attribute for his class. So during this game, he's like, hey, I'm playing one on one with you. I have the ability to roll a die and try and save myself because this is clear the dungeon. If you can't pass one card, it's game over. You're done. There's a one chance to clear the dungeon. So he has given the game master his attribute. Say, I'm going to take my 10 of clubs and I'm going to roll to get higher than the jack. So that jack can be, I think a jack is an 11 technically. So he can now take that 10 and roll with this attribute. And he needs to roll at least higher than a 1, which is really good. So he rolls, he gets a 4, which is he adds the 4 to the 10, he can clear that card. But now his attribute has been used, so he's turned it in. He no longer can use it unless the game master just decides he can. So we're gonna keep going. He's doing pretty good. Oh, that's not good. So he can't. He's lost. He loses. The game master's like, oh, okay, you guys, I'm sorry. It's a failure this time. You'll have to come back another day. But we'll say that character in the upper left, they have a skill where if all the players are like close together or whatever, they can say, hey, game master, I'm going to use this skill. Would be like a bardic skill. and we're all going to come together and I want to play another game. If all the players vote yes, then they all get to play. So I'm like, okay. So clear the dungeon is 6 cards with one player or however many. So now I'm going to say, okay, we're going to play the ship's wheel, which is clear the dungeon with 6 more cards, 8 more cards. So yeah, the ship's wheels I think is twice as much as clear the dungeon because every card in the center all now gets a bit of a spoke. So that's, it looks like a ship's wheel. Here is another wonderful example of what could happen. So the very first card, I tell them, okay, if you're going to use your attribute, this bardic skill to auto play the game, you no longer get 5 cards. We're going to go down to 3. Or you could just go, the game master could just decide whenever. But for this, it just made sense to say, okay, he has failed. So now you're all going to come together. So we're going to go down to 3 cards. The very first card is a king. No one can like roll or do anything for it. So I, the game master, just decide, okay, just draw again. Because you can be nice, you can be kind, but the king's gonna stay, and there we go. They got started. Boop. So they get started and they start going all the way around. They start playing. It looks like a little turtle. 7, 7, 9. I'm gonna say opposite higher. And for this, there's also another rule to where you cannot draw up to 3 or 5 or however many for the ship's wheel until you've used all your cards. Or once the first 8 are clear. So once you clear the first 8, then you could draw because you're technically, you're like going down deeper, technically, in like a sense of the way. So you're kind of getting like a reset once you've cleared all the spokes. So there we go. They've cleared all the spokes, and from here they're all going to draw up to 3 again, and they're going to get started with the clear the dungeon shape. 7, 7, 3, 3. Hey, good, good. They're playing through 5. It's the same 5. I'll take it. It's like, whatever. I'm being nice to them. 6, 7. Okay, that's fine. That's higher. Last card. Everyone's down. Like they've got 8, 2s, 3s. Like it's gonna be tough. Oh yeah. No, they can't. So I think during this, even with all of them coming together, they still couldn't win. But we use a third attribute. Let's just say this guy here can, if in the upper center, he has an attribute to where he can say, hey, at any point in whatever, he can say, in this game, if someone else has the same suit as I do, I can add their card to mine at any point during the search or ghost combat phase. And it get down to the very last card, and it just so happens that there's an 8 and there's two of clubs. So if he wants to, he can even add that other 2 of clubs. But it's down to the last card. I just give it to him. I'm like, you know what, you're right. That's a 10. That's the last card. So there we go. They've won, they've cleared. So from here, I'm gonna give them here's what example of what a good amount of rewards would look like for clearing a entire building. So this would be searching, finding all the clues, finding the ghost object, and then going into combat. So wow, that is a lot to explain, but you can see it's still all there. It's still all rolling. So here's the rewards. They would have to go. What I was starting from. They would have to go back to the pub or go back to some sort of central location and turn in this search in order to get these rewards. That was that's what would happen in the new game, or this could be all rewarded at the very end. Whatever. That's perfect. So, oh, hey, let's wait. I'm gonna wait here. I'm gonna give myself some time to edit because that was like 15 minutes. We're probably going on longer than that. So I'm gonna keep it around 15 minutes. We're gonna cut it down. I'm rolling immediately in the next one, which this says items and attributes, but this is more rewards than the other one. I don't know. I think I got these labeled wrong at some point in time, but clearly this is all just in the prototype phase. So, hey, we're gonna wait right here, and I wasn't planning on having to end it here, but hey, if you're still with me, you'll still be with me. I'm pretty sure I'll do another supercut because that was super fun to make. Um, you guys have a great rest of your day or evening. Remember, let me get the work, let me do the work so you can have the fun. I can't remember how the saying goes, but it's something like that, right? Let me do the work so you can have the fun. It's something like that. But hey, I'm still working. We're still working. We'll see you shortly. Bye. All right, so what we're going to do, editing me, is after that big long pause, we're going to go back to here and we're going to do. We're just going to take a breath. Okay, we're going to keep recording. We're going to keep it going. We're just going to take a breath. All right, we're going to do a supercut. So this all will be included at some point. Whew, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Okay, so it took a lot of remembering for me to kind of get through that. But once it clicks, and I start to remember, okay, yeah, goes here, that goes there, that's what this is for. Because that first time I saw it, it was so completely alien and different, even though it was literally my own creation. So that took a little bit. All right, we're gonna move right on. Ooh, sipping some tea. Delicious, delicious tea. All right, we're moving on. Oh boy, that was tough. All right, so back to recording me when I'm completely off screen. What I'm going to do is OBS, start recording, make sure the file is, it's recording to a file, make sure that that's always there. Oh, have display capture and start recording. That's the simplest way to use OBS. That's how I'm using it. And then when I'm off screen completely and I'm not attached to any video, I don't have my mouse capture because I don't like see the mouse becomes what you stare at. When the mouse is on the screen, that's what you as the audience are looking at. So I'm removing the mouse, and because it's not there and I can't just point to things, I need to explain much better. So what I'm going to do is, because this is not capturing my mouse, I'm this is how I can show editing me where I'm at. So when I do this, I'm telling myself, "Hey, you're speaking, get the audio synced up." So that's what I do here. I can do, "Hey, I'm on exit, exit, exit," something like that in order to sync up the audio. So we're gonna, since this is already supercut, the audio is already synced up. So when I'm getting ready, I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, tell myself minimize, and then I'm gonna do the mannequin mode and go quiet. So we're gonna roll straight into episode 2 of this, uh, whatever this is gonna be. I don't know, but this is like a playthrough thing. We'll figure it out. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Minimize. And hello. Welcome back. We've been rolling straight along. The Supercut edition. I think that went really well. I actually really enjoyed doing that. So the Supercut will be coming out later. It's at I will do the supercut at the end of this series because there's 2 other videos when you get through, but they aren't as long as the first one, which again makes perfect sense. I think that's perfect. All right, so this is items and attributes, but this is more about rewards. So we're just gonna skip the setup, skip the setup. So he here I'm gonna start them. He. Good job. Here, this character, has currency, items. So does everyone else. But I'm just kind of focusing on the left side. These characters have currency and items. That is it. Again, all I did was watch this once, completely just refreshing my memory, and now I'm back recording this. So I, the game master, have treasure and a safe. They, the characters, are now getting their player characters, which I hope to someday be represented through an application just on someone's phone, because that's what be simpler, or 3D print or whatever. Like this is so open to your own interpretation. You can do whatever you want. Believe it or not, there's a ton of style from the 1920s, a ton of style. Okay, another setup down hallway. All the car. I could have rotated. All right, pause. I skipped something here, which again I should be a little bit better at, but like I said, I don't exactly know. That character on the left side. Why does it do that? Is it me clicking wrong? Is it me clicking wrong? I don't know. But like I'll click, and then it must be because I'm moving my mouse. It must be that. The bars and all the stuff on the side pop back up. But going back, the character on the left is going to give me an item that is going to have them clear cards. This is not an attribute. This is an item that they have in order to clear a card. So they have like what was I thinking of originally? So like going back in my mind, this was an item that was like, oh, I just did the aesthetic video. So like the bug, that light bulb on the bug. So this character has that kind of item. It's a way to clear a single card if they roll above a certain number. So if they just roll above a 1, they get to clear 1 card. And then later on, there's going to be a character who's going to have an item that's like a ball with a candle in it, but that candle is in a gyroscopic sphere. So no matter where you move that ball, that candle stays lit and upright. So they're going to use this item to roll, and they have to roll a 4 in order to use this item, or else that ball will only roll as far as they went, if the game master decides. But it just so happened that that's how it worked out in this. So going back to the video, starting again, I say, all right, you want to start immediately with 1, sure. You roll a 1, I like whatever, you get it. You get to clear the 1 card. You roll a 1, you get a 1. It was whatever. I was being nice to him. Which, again, as the game master, can be as nice or as mean as you want. It really does. You can really change the difficulty of this game up or down, just kind of how you decide, because there's so much openness. You can say, no, I know you want to use that item first thing off, but you can't. And I think what I did also, and I missed that while I was rambling, the character in the upper left, I believe he tried to use an item immediately after. Yes. So the character in the upper left tries to use an item immediately after because he's the next in the rotation. and I say no. Yes, I say no. He just used an item, so save yours for later. Don't use an item right now. Save it for later. So again, you could be as nice as or as mean as you want. You could say no, your character is not going to use this item because they're going to save it for later. And that way you can if the player really wants to, then you can say okay, fine. But if not, it will come up here soon why that character saved that item. So here we're going to go down another hallway. They're going to draw up to the 5. There we go. And now I'm just going to say, he's going to say, hey, can I use my thing? Here's my thing. Like, okay, fine. I'm going to take that thing because you messed up my card. See, there, I did it. I did it. I knew how to use the rotation. I just didn't do it. He rolls and he throws his dice at me, so I'm all mad at him. Don't do. He rolls a 4, so it just so happens that this item he has, he only can roll a 4. So I'm like, okay, you want to try and use that item? Fine. I take it. I take the thing, and he just so happens to get it. So I get all mad at him, but whatever. He takes his gyroscopic candle ball and he manages to get it, ducks it all the way down the hallway. And they can see that it's all safe, that there's no sort of traps, there's no holes in the floorboards. They're able to clear this whole hallway because of that one player's item. So that's kind of like a reward for using it. I was all mad. Just keep pointing at him like, "You're done. I'm mad at you." Here we go. Then they're gonna separate. So now for this, I have the 2 players who are in the hallway are now searching the room. The other 2, they're just wandering around wherever they want to be. So the other 2 player characters who are in the upper right and upper center, they have left this location, and it is now the 2 players on the upper left and just left side are now clearing this room here. So they draw, they can't pass. So again, this is an iteration of the game where rather than having those heart cards immediately down, they're going to draw up to 3, and then once they hit that 3, they're going to start drawing down because they need to clear that card. And what I think is neither one of them at this point wanted to use their queen because this was like the start of a big search. There's going to be way more. So, hey, he happened to draw the exact same card right before they needed to start drawing down. So it's like, hey, good job, cool. And he drew another king. And then it's a queen, and he gives the opposite. So, like, okay, hey, we're not gonna do this again. And the game master says, oh, hey, you cleared this room. And as you went through this room, you had a lot of trouble in the corner here for whatever reason. But in the left side, you discovered a safe. There's a safe in this room. Now, the player characters, the 2 in the room, the one on the left, the one on the lower left, he has no items. And the one on the upper left, their item is the candle bowly thingy. So that's he can leave it if he wants because it counts as a candle, but he then uses I think he only has one use left. He uses that up. So he's like, okay, no. We know that the other player characters, the one in the upper right and upper center, wherever they are at in the building, one has a candle and one has a lockpick. So they're like, okay, we're gonna leave this room. Oh, I guess he does try, and I say no, no, don't waste it. Don't waste it. So I say, okay, he does have that item. So please go and get them. So once they leave, yeah, there we go. Show them that they leave the room, not the hallways, because like They cleared the hallways. I'm not. It's a big giant search. I'm gonna let them be able to search the hallways. But once you've left a room, that room it now goes dark. It needs to be completely researched again. So they have gone, the room goes dark. They talk to the characters like, "Hey, I need your lockpick. Hey, I need your candle." It's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, no, there's a safe. Go get that, go crack that safe open." So there we go. They chit chat, they get their stuff. There's that, there's that. Like, okay, hey, we're gonna take all this, and we're gonna be back. They go back to the room. They've got their items. And then from here, just as a small example, if they left the room and came back, I could, as the game master, see, again, it does. I swear, I don't move it, and it does, I could just click. But I, the game master, can decide. Okay, you left the room and you closed the door behind you just without thinking about it, and now the door is locked. So I know that they only have one lockpick now. So I could, as the game master, right now just decide that door is locked. And so they have to pass, because it's just a door, they have to pass a one card flip. And we'll say these players are down to, they only have 3 cards. So now that door being locked is a big deal. Because the room has gone dark. The spirit has now taken back of control of that room. So you could be really mean and lock the door if they happen to close it behind. So I'm like, okay, no, you light a candle and you clear the room. Like, I'm being nice. I'm being as nice as possible. So you light a candle, you go put it in the center of the room. It's lit. You now go and use the lockpick. You open the safe. They now take the safe material, whatever they got, all in. And now I'm showing here that because they left the candle in the room now stays lit. They don't have to research it. All the cards stay face up with the item in that room. There, they've got that, they've got that. So we clear all of this, and I'm going to show like an example of what would be a reward from the safe. So all the players would get, so this is going to be items. So within that safe, everyone gets some kind of double item. And then there's a whole bunch of money. So there's just, I just clicked around, I gave everyone like, they just divided amongst themselves. And there's a treasure. And again, with the treasures, those items are ones that have little value but still have value, that need to go be sold on some sort of secondhand market. So if you want, you can go and spend all your currency and spend your money all the time and just stack up and bank a ton of items. But again, they're not going to be as valuable, and it's going to take a day or two to sell them all off. So there's going to be a bit of a buffer. But if you want, as a player character, to just collect a bunch of a certain item, just because that's what your character is likes. If your character likes, like silverware, and they like silver spoons, and hey, they're going to collect all the silver spoons, and your character can have like 100 silver spoons, and on a rainy day, you can go sell them all. Like that's kind of like, from here, that would be notes. You would have to have notes on your character to have all that in mind for future sessions. Like, oh, hey, my character has 100 spoons, and we all have no money. There's a big hunt we need to go get done. So, all right, I guess I have to sell a bit of my collection for the better of my group. And I think that's the end of that one. All right, so I think there's one more after this. It's going to be the shortest one. So we're going to end it here, and then we're going to move on to the third very soon. You guys have a great evening. Have a great one. Enjoy your day or evening or whatever time it is. Enjoy. Let me do the work so you can have the fun. You have a great one. Bye bye. And here for the super cut, folk. After you do the sign off, I'm learning to give yourself some time, a lot of dead air for your editing self to have time to crunch that down and get a fade in or a fade out. So we're going to go back to OBS. So this is like going back into your trailer, going back into your room. Take a break, take a breath, because I think we'll be able to hit at least maybe an hour. So we're at 40 minutes right now, so we might be able to hit an hour. More tea. Oh, Mr. Cat Guy is chilling right next to me here. He's taking a nap, so I'm gonna let him take a nap. I want to take a nap too, buddy. But we're good. We're doing this for the love of it. All right. Back to it. Just make sure. Exit. 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 Settings. Exit. Just to sync it up. Just when I do eventually break it apart. I think we're ready. 1, 2, 3. Minimize. Greetings. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're on to the third video of this just screen capture of the prototype of Terrors in the Night, I guess. We're not gonna watch the last one because the last one is just all three of these combined. So there's really no use unless I watch it for the supercut and I just kind of hang out and chit chat with everybody. But we'll decide we'll decide that in a minute. Okay, we're moving on to the last one. This should be the shortest. So this I have set up as the bare minimum. So the absolute bare minimum required is the game master who has he has all the cards. We'll say he has the cards for everybody. The game master has brought all the cards for everybody. He's also the only one who has any sort of item, chips. He's the only one who has the dice, whatever. I'm the game master. I'm the one who brought everything. It's me. I'm providing this experience for everybody else. So this is a representation of how I would want that sort of game to go. This would be kind of an example of a session 0 game where you say, hey, here I have a little bit of currency, I have a little bit of treasure, and I have some items. Here we're going to do kind of like a session 0 search of a building or of a location, whatever. We're not going to use the dice. I believe we're not going to use any sort of items or anything. But here I'm going to tell all of the characters, okay, go ahead and draw your 5 cards. And then say, okay, you flip your 5 cards. Here we are going to search a hallway. So the hallway is going to just be 4 cards in a row. And we're going to do it one at a time. And it will be whatever the game master decides it takes to clear that card. So I don't think at this point I'm going to take any heart cards out or anything like that. It's just going to be opposite suit higher. Yes. Then we're going to go on to the next one. It's a 6. 6 of spades. Opposite suit higher. He decides to play queen. Yeah, sure. He can't do anything. Upper player, they can't do anything. Oh no, they can! They can! It's like, okay, yeah, keep going. Like, all right, you guys, you cleared the hallway. Well done, fantastic. Here we're going to now search a room, which will be 4 cards in a square shape. Ah, See, in real life, you won't accidentally pick up the entire deck of cards. You don't. Whoops! Picked up the whole deck of cards. My bad. Oh, that's funny. Like, all right, so now you all draw up to 5. And from here, I tell them because I think at this point I just happen to notice all the players, they have one single heart card. They all did. So I think from here I said, okay, it's session 0. We're gonna search a room. If you have a heart card, now take that card out of your hand. That is your health. So here I think I just happened to notice that. And like, okay, now draw up to 5. I think it was like, okay, just one heart card, just one health. That's what we're gonna keep it at for right now. It's like, all right, we're gonna start. Opposite higher or the exact same? Opposite higher. He has a 4. He'll knock it out. Same, because he has another heart card in his hand. So I think I meant to grab that heart card and not his actual health. But like I said, that's just a session 0 mistake. Like it's just something really little that right now in this learning phase with what this game would look like with the game master bringing everything for the players, say you just that's just not something you're gonna say. You're just like, all right, cool, you passed, good job. So here we're gonna like, all right, everyone's good, dude. And now I'm gonna say we're moving on to a game. So it's going to be one player and the game master. Just kind of as it kind of puts someone on the spot, but it is first you search and then you go to the game. So this is really quick. So I think we're just going to set up for if I remember right, it was a 3v3, and if he won, he got a treasure. So it's like, okay, here is a game and a reward for the game. So I don't even think I meant for this to be a session 0. I just think I meant for this to be an example of the entire game. But now that I'm so late in the stages of the prototype, and like from the prototype to now, I see this now as a perfect example of the session 0. And it just so happens he loses it all. So it's like, okay, I'm sorry. This is how it's going to be. The ghost is just going to probably kick your can in a lot. So I'm sorry, man. That's just going to be the game. And they're like, okay, you know what? That seems like fun. Let's play. And done. That is it. That is all 3 of the game capture videos, which I think are perfect. So from here, I am now going to set up and get one of that kind of like that session 0 game set up with my player characters, my own characters, and see if we can like devise a script, because that will be kind of an example of what I want of a little bit of video of me but some video of the screen of writing a script and going through this process again, just from start to finish with everybody, because this is kind of what I want to be. I want to just explain as much as I can. We're gonna wrap it up. You guys have a great one. I appreciate it. Let me do the work so you can have the fun. I love that. It's just such a good sign off. All right. You guys have a great one. Bye bye. All right. And I promised for the supercut, I thought about it. And you know what? I think it'd be fun. I think it'll be fun. If you give me just a little bit of a break, I'm gonna go take a break. Just a little bit of a break. I've been sitting here for an hour, so I'm not a streamer. I'm not used to this. I'm just gonna go take a little bit of a break, and for the Supercut people, we will come back and watch the whole card game, and we're just gonna hang out and chit chat through it. All right. I'll see you guys in a minute. I just I need to go get a snack. All right. Bye bye. Yeah, no, somehow you did not. You got through the whole entire notebook, and when you went to go to the OBS, you found out that you somehow never hit start record. So no, you're failed a little bit there, but at least you caught it. Sorry, guys. This is post CJ's Huff, right? Going back to editing. All right, all right. Recording, audio recording me. Ready? We're getting back in the video. 1, 2, 3. Minimize. All right, we're back. I either did a little edit or I didn't. I don't know. But hopefully you can still see the time. It's been less than 10 minutes. So I'm still with you, Supercut people. I just needed a little break. Hopefully you needed a little break. But what we're going to do is going to watch through the whole card complete, which should be all three of those videos just out of order or in some sort of stupid order. I don't know. But it's just all the three videos we just watched, but with the Filmora I'm pretty sure this is the one with the Filmora thing. This should be like all of those string together. So it doesn't make any sense to upload that as a separate thing. It would make more sense to have that as, here's the three videos, here's me talking through them all in one sitting, and then here's this longer video where I just kind of sit and talk with you with what we just saw in the background. So it just kind of repeats itself without me repeating myself. So I went and got a snack, and it just so happens that I remembered to actually yes, bring in my notebooks from these last couple of years of projects. So I thought over through the card complete, since I already talked about what's on the screen, you can do what you want with what you will. I was thinking about going through my notebooks and just seeing if just what's in there. Because this is like, as I said before, this is an idea that developed from an idea, from an idea, from an idea, that sort of lineage back for several years. So I'm going to finish off this tea. Grab the first notebook and let's get started. Let's at least see where I start here. Make sure that's still off. Yeah, this has the Filmora on there. I'll be interested to see what this looks like doubled over. Kind of see if they change it at all. But I don't. I think this will go through the entire setup. I'm not going to do any sort of fast forward or anything. This is 30 minutes long. All right, yeah, that's fair. 30 minutes. Let's do it. All right. So my first notebook is just a little tiny one from Green Room. Notebook. It's got very formal letters for note and then very fancy letters for book. So I started with the world of Ekash, the treasure hunters. So from here, I came up with four characters named Elandro, Kane, Freyr, and Adial, something like that. I tried to develop this RPG kind of like what I'm doing with this game, where I'm telling a story through the game. Because again, I want to tell. The goal is to tell a story first, not to play the game. The game is supplementary to the story. So I want them to work together as cohesively as possible. So I wrote down like kind of here like some Dungeons and Dragons stuff, like a basic adventurers bag has clothing, armor, a helmet, and a hat. Three large coin bags, five small coin bags, magic gloves, There's knife kits with small knife, little knives, hammers, large spike, 50 foot of rope, 150 foot of 50 foot of large rope, and then 150 foot of thin rope. That's cool. Metal pot with a lid, paper and pen. So yeah, like again, that's going more further down into just telling a story. So that's really why I abandoned the Akash idea. Well, I really like the idea of, the material, the metal, the potted plates or the pottery, whatever it is, that material being able to heat up and keep its heat. And there's water, there's water in Dungeons and Dragons, so why not have some sort of boat option that can have like super fast, go super fast. Let's see, what's this page? I have written at the top Rapunzel in the Wasteland. Um, so yeah, I'm not gonna just blatantly read these out just because some of these are like still my ideas. A lot of these are just string of conscious ideas. So Rapunzel in the Wasteland, make Gothel more of a villain. Rapunzel gives access to something important to Gothel. This is definitely after like one of my favorite Disney movies is Tangled. Tangled. That's what it's called. It's called Tangled. Um, what is the flower? That's right. I was trying to figure out what the flower was. Like, what's the whole point of the flower? Like, I get it's what gave her the powers, but how? You know what I mean? How? So I wanted to like find out something with that, and it just crossed my mind like Mad Max and like his car. So like Mad Max almost has superpowers because of his car, but he doesn't really have powers. So I wanted to make something like that. So that was like Rapunzel in the Wasteland. Tangle plus Mad Max Fury Road. It's literally written there at the bottom. Uh, the goal is to reunite a kingdom. I think that's what I wrote. What's there? Uh, no, that's a grocery list. Overworld map, NPC. Oh, that's right. RPG Maker. So I had this stint of trying to get stuff, trying to make stuff with RPG Maker because it went on sale over like some sort of holiday, and I got on super big discounts. I'm like, oh, maybe that'll be a good idea. So here are these notes I made for RPG Maker. New project plus location. First map is Overworld. Maps can be used as folders, whatever that meant. Create an NPC was the event button, two on tile, set trigger, set image. There was all these notes too on contents to create event, show text and like oh my god, always preview. That seemed to be a note, always preview. Then there was I think that's event transfers, make NPC move. So yeah, these are just pages and pages of like RPG Maker notes. So, oh my god, several pages. I tried. I swear, I tried. That's one. So these are front and back. So I take my notes one way and then I flip my book upside down and I take them the other way. So one, two, three, four. That's five full front and back pages of RPG Maker notes. Oh, that's another one. RPG Maker World Maps Character Events. That's just another crap one. Oh, so from the other video, I told you guys about one of my ideas called throw stories. So this is like the incarnation of throw stories when I started implementing it and doing it. So my first role was a crime mystery and it was a caper. So I think that was like a secondary role. And then it was a crime mystery caper with a romance and paranormal time travel. So that's well, was like one of the stories. And then I got a fiction, western, sci-fi, hard sci-fi in a parallel world. So that's like when you say these, they sound like things you talk about. Like that sounds like Westworld. The mystery, crime, caper, romance, parallel travel, time travel. That sounds like to me the Notebook. Notebook. But you know how, like, when you do that and you think of the stories, you think of what you know, you either think of the things you like and then you could go from there, or you think of the things you don't like and you can go from there. Like, if you want, you could make the Notebook more of like a crime caper mystery where the romance is more of this B plot rather than the A plot, you know? Like, so that's what Throw Stories is all about. An Amish romance with a survival, a gothic suburban horror that was a folklore fiction and a personal narrative. So, like, you take all those elements and you just put them together, you got some kind of a story, even if it's a short story, you got a story. Historical fantasy with a subterranean action adventure. Ooh, that's cool. Oh, this is pages. Sci-fi, a spy-fi, sci-fi, spy-fi, fiction, folklore, and urban legend. Okay, so like that's weird. A spy-fi that's a fictional story, folklore, and an urban legend. That sounds like it sounds like, if I think about it, it sounds a spy-fi folklore urban legend. It sounds like someone in the world of Blade Runner is telling his kids about Batman. That's what it sounds like. So that would be cool. A subterranean horror with zombies. That's just Day of the Dead. I think it's Day of the Dead. Crime mystery, a classic mystery police procedural. That's a fiction scenic journey. Huh, that's cool. Fantasy, a grim dark with another fantasy that's an isekai. That's something I'm willing to bet. I think I got this flipped upside down, so I'm going backwards. Holy crap, there's more. An outbreak sci-fi that's historical. Like, there you go. Like, even that, the most basic. I rolled a sci-fi and I rolled outbreak, and then I rolled fantasy and I rolled historical. You could come up with a story from anywhere in time. Like, tell some sort of like romance between some people who have tuberculosis, and show what those old abandoned big isolated hot, like those asylums, show what those look like when they were working and like functioning. But you don't have to show the negative, you can show something positive. Like, there's a good idea. A pop culture history, I don't think I don't think I can do anything with that. And then there's like my screenplay notes, how to do outlines, and I use ooh, what do I use? I use I know I'm looking at my computer. I can minimize it and go into my folder, but I don't want to blast my own personal data to the world. So let me just think. It's like $80. Oh, like Final Draft. I think it's called Final Draft. No, screw it. Let's see here. I can minimize this, right? Yeah, computer stuff. There shouldn't be anything in here that you guys you can't see. It's just, there's my Wondershare. So there's the program I use to separate my audio from my video. And then Audacity's there, and then there's that's probably like the only thing I didn't want you to see is like my own personal scripts. Oh no. That's it. That's the program. It's called Fade In. It's called Fade In. There we go. We're back. So it's called Fade In. Here's a bunch of notes for how to use Fade In, and ooh, these are story notes. Oh, the treatment should be 5 to 10 pages. Scriptment, a treatment with sections of a script, not professional. Character description, physically, mentally, background. We should meet the character at the height of who they are. This must have been some YouTube video I was watching. Dialogue, it's messy, it has natural rhythm, it is not a video game. No need to describe the scene. If someone knows what video I was watching, which this is ambiguous, but it's in like a row. Like I would have taken it in this row. Telling stories based on history. No. Oh yeah, no, this was from the same video. So there's a graph in the video of history, and history is the Y, timeline is the X. So time moves forward while history moves along, moves up, and there's all these ups and downs and massive valleys. There's 2 points. There's a point here and a point here. They are directly horizontal from each other. And what connects those points is what looks like, a stock graph, just ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. And so it points to the story should take place before a big mountain. So you don't want to, if you're telling a story that's historical, like I'm almost positive that's where all these other notes came from. It was like the guy was talking about how to write about historical dialogue. And he says in there that to start your story, you don't start at the top of the mountain, you start well before it, and you work your way to that mountain. So I thought that was like an amazing, amazing note. Am I upside down again? No, I'm up along. More ideas, story ideas. Um, that's more of like shopping lists. Grocery dry. Oh yeah, hey. So if you want to know, like here's a super. How much time have we got? We're like halfway through. Here's a super list of groceries that I think everyone should have, which of course I don't. Cereal, pastry, cracker snack, fruit roll-ups, or no, fruit cups, mac and cheese, popcorn, oatmeal, rice, pasta, bread, canned goods, honey, peanut butter, and jelly, syrup, spices as needed, fruits and veggies as needed, packaged drinks, animal food, and bulked water. Cold is milk, butter, cheese, yogurt, bagels, cream cheese, bulk packs of. I have Costco in here, but I'm just assuming like they just anything bulk you could fit in your fridge from it, like Sam's Club or Costco or any of those big stores. Ketchup, mustard, soy, juice, veggie, eggs, salads, and dressings, meat packs of slices with slices of cheese, with brick cheese and shredded. Cool. Then I have a list of frozen goods, which is just like fish. I just have fish and waffles, fish waffles and ice cream. Amenities. That's like I don't think I'm gonna keep reading that. That's my own personal list of just all the things I wish I could just have all at one time and not just in massive chunks. More lists. That's more lists. PC takes damage, combat, slide, 6. Ugh, ugh. I, okay, if that's confusing to me now, it's going to be confusing to people. I can see why I abandoned that. I think this was like some sort of combat dice system where it's like fractions, where one roll is 1, another roll is 0, another one rolls a 3, he rolls a 0, and at the bottom it's 3 to 0. I don't. God, that's so stupid. That was so stupid. Um, that's right. It was based off a Souls-like system, like Dark Souls or Bloodborne, where you're rolling for hits and you're rolling for dodges. So I think that was it. You only had a D4. It was a Souls-like tabletop game where you only had a D4, and just trying to figure out the combat was way too much. But yeah, you would roll for your attack and then roll for your dodge, and then the enemy would do the same thing at the same time, and then whatever the math worked out would be like hits taken. So that was that. Um, Gosh, I took a lot of notes in here for just. I'm still struggling, but apparently there was a point in time where I was struggling even worse. I couldn't keep my laundry straight. I have notes in here. Keep getting laundry. Oh, yeah. I saw this movie on YouTube called Jasper's Mall. That was interesting. That seemed cool. Oh, then there was a movie I saw. I took a couple notes on. I liked it from 1998. This is called Stay Tuned, and I thought it would be better as an animation. Um, History and flavor? Oh no, no, that can't be right. Huh. Well, I see ghost hunting written in that all this. So the team uses modern day tech to track the ghost, but the team makes income by uploading their Explorer videos, but not the paranormal stuff. I don't know. Story one, shopping, scouting his. I think this must have been the very beginning of Terrors in the Night. This must have been like the seeds of the idea for some reason, because the that's just one page. It's like history and oh, that's what it must be, history and horror. I must have that must be one of these ideas. This must be where Terrors in the Night came from. Is one of these ideas I just flipped to a random page in my book and I just expanded on it. Urban Explorer documents night investigations at abandoned locations, and as they speak with spirits with a mysterious device, their stories are told. Yeah, that's exactly where this came from. That's cool. I wasn't expecting to actually find that. I didn't even know where this idea originated from. Because immediately after this is my old time radio, where that's a dead project on my sock account, where I tried to string together really good old time radio programming because all the old time radio I was running into was just short, copy paste. Hey, here's the show, have fun, bye, just enough of my voice to get paid. When I wanted to listen to it for like hours on end with the commercials, because there's this one guy who kept uploading his videos. He's like, I never cut out the commercials. And yet, every single time an old time radio commercial would be playing, he'd cut it out and he'd go to an actual modern day ad. So, this was something I worked on for months. And I got a lot of my old time radio, which I have hundreds of hours of it now, from OTRCAT.com, I think. OTRCat, Old Time Radio Catalog, OTRCat. So I got all of my that from there. So I made a couple of the shows where the idea was to call it KLKB 95.5 The Lodge. And that was the idea, was to create this out of time, old time radio experience on the internet that was completely and totally uninterrupted by a person, but the background would be of like a modern day game. So this was supposed to just be like an old time radio in a mountains lodge somewhere during the late 1950s or 60s. That audio was being played over modern day gameplay for some reason, and I wanted to incorporate, kind of like an AGR, like the Mandela effect, or what is it? There's a bunch of people talking about the new AGR, the spooky, scary stuff that's analog horror. So I wanted to incorporate some of my own analog horror into that, in where people, after listening to it for like 3, 4, 5 hours on end, they would hear like a spooky voice. Just check and see. Yeah, yeah, I can explain this. So they would hear like spooky voices, they'd hear conversations, or like it would be things like that. So I had a early morning theme was drama. The morning theme was quiz and personality. The day theme was westerns, soap operas, and holidays. The night theme is detective sci-fi quiz shows. The late night theme is the mystery horror, holiday, sports, and news. And the experimental theme was as needed. So it was um, blocks. So the the morning theme is early morning and morning, or not the theme, but the blocks are early morning and morning. That's the morning block. Um, Morning, day, night, late night is the day block, and then night and late night is the night block. So you can have those separated out and mix and mingle a little bit to really keep it fresh and really keep that long listening time like really engaging. So that was KLKB the Lodge, which didn't really go anywhere, but I really like that idea. I'd love to see that someday come to some kind of fruition. But that's what we're here for. Someone wants to make that, go make that. It'd be super cool. You have to just invest a little bit into go buy old time radio and just keep yourself out of it. don't don't inject yourself. Only like other actors. You like that would be the key. That'd be the key to that KLKB 98.5 The Lodge analog horror old time radio with modern day gameplay. That would be the key, is that you as the creator, just like with analog horror, you can never be involved. You can have other people, you can have other things, but you have to be completely separated from it. So it would take someone with a very low ego to do that. Oh, that's right, the shadow. I thought of like expanding on the shadow in modern day with I named her Agnes Lane because I think it's what's the shadow? The shadow likes Margot Lane, and his name is Brian Cranston. I think is one of his names, the one I know of. So she would have been in her late 20s in the 1980s, but her psychic powers are a little bit more adapted because the shadow could only go invisible and like project his voice. So I wanted her to have, more modern day fun like powers, the bring the shadow back, which would be super super cool. Which Alec Baldwin, I know he's in a lot of trouble right now, but he was in like the the Shadow movie, and the movie's really good. Like I know Alec Baldwin's in a lot of trouble right now, and there's literally him doing the thing that he's in trouble for in that movie. But just that I media is media. It is what it is. It's a good movie. Oh yeah, one of my favorite stories, one of my favorite all-time radios is from Suspense. The author is, I want to say, Anton Andler. I know I said that wrong. This is my handwriting is terrible. I'm sorry. You saw it in the other video where I put it up to the screen like a. My handwriting is terrible. So Antoine Andler, the Ghost Hunt is what it's called. It's a suspense ghost hunt, and I love that story. That's one of my absolute favorites. Not my favorite, but one of my favorites. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I took some notes. Oh yeah, here's where C.J. Hofstra came from. So I started the idea of like when if I were to do YouTube, what is gonna be the steps? So I said I have a main channel and a support channel, which obviously I'm not in anywhere near to have a support channel, which I don't even know what the support channel would be yet, but main channel, support channel. So, oh yeah, that's my idea. My idea would have been this: if you have your main YouTube channel, you make your support channel. Like the ones the shorts. Make that totally different. I wanted my main channel to be something like this, where I'm talking and doing my thing, but the support channel to be, an ambiance with the background, the lo-fi vibe stuff. Um, and that way you just become it'd be like a completely separate thing from your main channel, but you're still providing something cool. So yeah, there I have um oh yeah, I got World War Z, which World War Z is like the first book I was ever enthralled with. Like I have a spooky story about reading World War Z, but I'll save that for another time. But the game was really cool. I love playing the game, and I have on there Wilmot's Warehouse. So imagine like combining the fun parts of the World War Z game, or just World War Z, with Wilmot's Warehouse, where you're organizing. But like, just imagine things falling apart around you, but you still have to do this mundane job. Like, I think that'd be cool. So yeah, here I have CJ Hoffsrate. That's where I came up with my moniker, was just as the host, and that was, as I mentioned, inspired by M.R. James, E.G. Marshall. But oh, I love radio. Everyone has always told me I have a radio voice. So just for fun, now that's been kind of warmed up, I'll do my favorite ad. So it's oh, now that I'm on the spot, I now have to think about it. Um, oh, it's Mole, the heavier brush with shaving cream. It's slick, so slick. It's smooth, so smooth. It's the slick shave you only get with Mole, the heavier brush with shaving cream. So there's just a quick off the cuff of my favorite ad from Old Time Radio. I hated it at first because it seems so long. You know, it's slick, so slick. It's smooth, so smooth. Like it seems weird, but once you like say it a couple times, it's fun. Like it is a fun ad. We're getting close. Like 5 minutes. I think I can get to the end here. At least this first notebook. Um, Nothing there. So yeah, I created CJ Hoffsrate for KLKB 98.5. CJ Hoffsrate wasn't supposed to be for Terrors in the Night, but I took that moniker from this old idea because it worked better. Um, of course, thumbnail, banner, which I don't think I have a banner on this channel yet, but that's okay. I'll figure out the banner later. There's some notes. That's good. That's I'll talk about that later. But one of my favorite, so I like Ghost Adventures, but early Ghost Adventures, and one of the first episodes like that really made me want to believe in ghosts. Like besides like I've had experiences that have traumatized me, so I have this weird relationships with ghosts in reality and in media, but like the one episode that I just adore is the Brookdale Lodge. Like a natural like stream running through a building that's a hotel or a motel that just enthralls my soul. There's no way to explain it. So I created this concept of an entire place based around Brookdale. So I'll explain more of that because there's a lot of notes, but I'll explain about that later. I'm sure I'll get to that. Oh yeah, so there's those new things. They're like little tiny TVs. I imagine one of those, but for old time radio. Where you don't have the screen. It's so much simpler to put together when you just focus on making that little tiny thing have really, really, really good audio, and then put old time radio in that thing. That'd be really cool, like a little mini old time radio thing. Like that'd be super super cool. Um, there'd be like a save option. Like you can like turn a dial, and you could like push and hold a button to go to dial one. Like a car, and that would save a certain episode. And then you go two, three, five, six, eight, all the way around. So then when you're listening to it, and this is tiny little thing that's playing on your desk, you're like, I kind of want to go to my favorite. You just dial it over, and it would just start playing. It would shuffle from that episode like that. That's my idea for a tiny product. That'd be cool. Merch ideas would be that are really popular enamel pins, a stationery set that's complete with a notepad, pens, a pen bag, and pencils. Sponsor product. Ooh, a wax and seal kit with letters. That's cool. Lanyards and keychains, and I put playing cards on here because that's been on my mind forever. Um, Script notes get their attention the first 10 pages. Have a different perspective. Realistic actors talk like people. Acts are 10 pages. Like these are just generic notes. Oh, that's a PlayStation 1. At the very end of this script note page, I have this big old squiggle. It says PlayStation 1 era graphics, open world game slash liminal space, uh, Resident Evil. Like, imagine having entire access to the Resident Evil mansion, but nothing being there. Like, and Raccoon City. Like, I know there's Silent Hill, but Silent Hill is like so Silent Hill has the pristineness, but it's still creepy. I think that's it. Oh, that's it. We almost, we'll finish up. I've only got like 4 or 5 pages left here. Um, but that would be really cool. You know what I mean? That in between Resident Evil and Silent Hill, that PlayStation era graphics, that detail, but as a liminal space walkthrough, which I think is solved with. I think that's just Gary's mod. Which I said, as I said before, that's something I would love to like. If I could make money, I would support that. Making liminal spaces, like I would do that. Oh yeah, I got modern urban legend locations, old ships, mining towns, abandoned buildings, deep forests, long highways, motel rooms, old mansions, and cabins. That was cool. Um, there's just a list of character ideas. Characters: man slash old man, woman slash old woman, son slash grandson, daughter slash granddaughter, um, young man, young woman. I guess I could have added that all into one. Doctor, police officer, teacher, or guard, student. That those aren't really characters. Those are jobs. Yeah, that doesn't really make sense. Almost done here. Old building. I don't know what this is. This is. I think I was trying to make up stories from certain locations. Built in the woods in New York, this massive rose red style. Yeah, like Rose Red. You remember that? That really old TV show from like the early 2000s. It was like a special, like Rose Red. Rosenthal Mansion is gorgeous condition, but no one seems to claim ownership of the building. It does have a family that still owns it. All they do with it is rent it over the summer, but no one is ever seen arriving or leaving. So it's kind of like an alternate setting where this really really pristine place is out there in the woods, but you can't really get there. But it's supposedly still like inhabited. So what would you do with that setting? This beautiful ship had a historic past. She began as a working class ship, then a passenger ship. She was then used in war and survived several attacks. She was then returned as a passenger ship, so this could be anything, but quickly disappeared. Now the ship has been reported to be seen across the globe. She was reported lost with treasure on board. I think this is kind of like the where the beginning ideas of the second expansion of Terrors in the Night's going to go, where there's going to be this like system for game. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to be. It's going to be a system for where game masters can, like, no matter what the setting is, there's going to be something that they can just roll for or randomly generate to create. So like an estate, the object is a safe, the ghost is a lady, is three ladies, red, black, and blue, and fear. Oh, that's right. I remembered that. I remembered that. There's certain fears that people have, and those fears are what spirits in like the real world, that's what they supposedly feed off of. So it's like the fear of the dark. If you have a if like in a game, if you have a fear of the dark, you would lose something in that. A fear of bugs, a fear of isolation in a country home. Yeah, we'll work on that. But I think we got through one whole notebook. We've been recording for not at all. What happened? What happened?